Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. This venture happens to be my last Halloween project for this season. I believe in hashtag Halloween all year, so this is not the last of the Halloween that you'll see from me, but for this particular season, as this day is Halloween Day. So I wish you all a happy Halloween, not a spooky, scary, gory one, but a happy one. And we are going to jump right into the process of making these 3 fun little tags with Clearly Besotted stamps. So I start out by ink smushing. Like, I am pretty obsessed with my spray stains and the mica stains right now. I have to say I do prefer the stains over the oxides. They're just more vibrant. I've probably said that before. I am not opposed to the oxides. I'm building my oxide collection as well. But I like the vibrancy of the stains versus the oxide. So I had the inks down on my glass mat from another project, and I said, okay, we got to use this. So I turned my camera back on, cut up some watercolor paper. That is Canson XL, and I literally just have it cut down in approximate sizes. In fact, when I make these tags, only one is a full size tag, because I did cut my paper down randomly. And so you'll see how I handle that here in just a little bit. All right, now the colors that I'm using, I have Wild Honey, Rusty Hinge, which are 2 of my faves right now, absolute faves, Tea Dye, Antique Linen, and then I also have Tree Lot. Now I had several others out on my desk. I think I might have used some Frosted Juniper as well, but those are the main ones that I used. And so, as I've said before, and if you are a Tim Holtz fan, you've heard him say this because he taught me, wet on wet blends, wet on dry layers. So I am using my heat tool at certain times because I want to layer. At other times I am not. I'm just dabbing and dabbing, and here's a good example. So I dabbed it in the wet. I'm drying it. I don't ever dry them fully, I don't think. But because A, it's time consuming, and B, I just want them to layer. See how that layered? That's like the perfect example. And then all those different water spots. And I have to say, if you allow them to dry naturally versus with a heat tool or a heat gun, you get a little bit different effect. It has a little bit different look. So I am actually kind of playing with all 3 of these. They're not tags yet, but I'm going to call them tags. I'm playing with all 3 at the same time. The process is the same. The colors are the same. And the overall feel and aesthetic of all 3 tags is the same, but they're completely different. Completely different. Look at those little splotches. Water spots. Sorry, my hand's in the way. Guys, can I make a confession to you? I often use my mouth as a third hand, and I actually stuck the end of my heat gun in my mouth. I've cut it because it wasn't pretty, and I said some not nice things. I still can't believe that I did that. But I did. Okay, so you saw my process for the tags. Now here I just have another big chunk of watercolor card, and I didn't want to let any of this ink go to waste. So I'm not really smushing per se as much as I am just trying to absorb it all. So that I use in just a little bit, but here are my 2 new sets from Clearly Besotted. Now the reason I'm so late getting this video out is because I had lost all of the stamps from my Stamptember haul. Yeah, I was freaking out just a little bit. I have to kind of process it still. Like, they were missing for a couple of weeks because, I've been working on my craft room, which is still not quite finished, mostly, I'd say 95% finished. But I did not know where these were. I thought I had looked in every potential place, but I hadn't, and there they were. I just found them this weekend. So I'm stamping literally every image from both sets. Here I am adding some extra eyeballs and some extra candy corn, as well as the balloons. Now I had left a space for the balloons. I was going to put one in the little teddy bear's hand and one in the kitty's hand, but there just wasn't enough room. So I put it in the little ghosty, and I think it's absolutely adorable. So here I did all the coloring off screen because that really wasn't the focus. The focus is the construction of these tags, which, by the way, I did not get all of that. So I do apologize. That's really, it was intended to be my focus, but technology was not my friend this weekend. So I have the Whimsy Slim. Oh gosh, I'm going to link it downstairs. It's the tag die set, as you can see. I can't remember. I'm so bad with the names right now, but I cut out 3 of them, and like I said, only one of them is full size, and I'm not mad about it. So I have all my little critters up there, and the extra eyeballs and the extra candy corn. And I also wanted the reinforcers, not so much for reinforcement, but to be another detail on the tags. I love the black circle, and it can be any color. And you don't even have to use the reinforcers with the die, because in office supply stores, they actually sell the reinforcers. You could buy those. They're stick-on. They're self-adhesive. And all you have to do is color them with, you can use whatever you want, a Sharpie, alcohol ink marker, colored pencil, whatever to match your project. So cut my 3 big tags, cutting my 3 small tags. Now these were cut out of that big piece of watercolor card that I was using just to absorb the ink sprays off my workstation. So I'm adhering all 3 of them down to this piece of black cardstock. I'm going to let them sit aside to dry because I don't want my edges curling up. And in the meantime, I'm cutting out layers to go with my tags. Now this is the one that's full size. These others are not. So I know what size I need them trimmed down to because the width remains the same. And then before I manage or show you how I address the shorter tags, we're going to cut these out real quick, but I do the same on all 3 tags, and I'm literally just eyeballing. I'm lining it up at a certain spot on that little, I don't know what that piece is called that holds it down, the little finger plate, I don't know, but I'm just kind of lining it up on a certain spot there, and I cut out all 3, trim them all down. They're essentially the same. And then this is the full size one, trimming it down as well. Only have to do 3 of the sides because the other 3 lined up just the way I wanted them to. And who, by raise of hands, if you would down in the comments, raise your hand, let me know if you have this type of old scissor. I have an entire little bucket full. This is the decal edge. So when Tim Holtz came out with his decal edge trimmer, I was like, oh man, I still have my decal edge scissors. I don't need that trimmer. And I love my decal edge, and I thought this was a perfect time to pull it out. So I have decal, and I have zigzag, and I have a rickrack, and I have different size scallops, and you name it. Let me know downstairs if you have yours as well. And this hole punch is old as the hills too, but it's tiny. I need to get one that's a little bit bigger because I would like to be able to put larger, like torn pieces of fabric and bigger ribbons and stuff through my tags, and it's kind of complicated. Sometimes I'll just staple them on, and I think that's a pretty cool look. But yeah, I just need a larger little hole punch. So there are all 6 tags, and now I decided that I wanted to add a little bit extra. So I was going to do something like, oh gosh, like a checkerboard or a harlequin or something like that, but I didn't want to lose all that beautiful mottled ink in the back. It's just so pretty. And this was literally still sitting on my desk from the last time I used it. I can't remember the name of it, but it's from Sweet and Sassy, if I remember correctly. Sweet and Sassy Stamps. It's beautiful vintage font script, and it's so pretty. I absolutely love it. And you know, while I was doing this, you guys know I'm on the Whimsy design team. What I would love from Whimsy, and I haven't said this to anybody, I would love it if they took the vintage script red rubber stamp and made that into a stencil. How cool would that be? It'd be very similar to this, but oh, I love it, love it, love it. So all 3 of my large tags have a little bit of the script, and all 3 of my small tags do. And so I've got that continuity, and that's why I'm saying the aesthetic of all of them really is very much the same, even though they're very different altogether. So bringing in some more of my ink to add one more layer of the splatter, especially on the smaller tags, because they just have, mostly it's antique linen. So here I'm adding the wild honey, the rusty hinge, and I also come in with, what is that green that I used? Tree Lot. And the shimmer from the Tree Lot It's very subtle, but when the light hits it just right, oh, it's so yummy. Wait till you see them up close. So here they are. Apologies that the construction was not on there. I thought my camera was running. It had stopped. But I think they're absolutely adorable. I came in with some, I don't know what kind of, I want to say it was Nuvo crystal drops that I used to just make some shiny, make some, I don't know, just some more depth and dimension and an extra layer. And I didn't do it on everything, and of course I didn't do it in large quantities, but just enough. And I don't know if you can see when the what are they called, tags, when they turn, and you can see the mica stain is so good. The little star banner, that was one whole banner. It's a die cut from Whimsy Stamps, and I love it. I had used or cut it out for my my vignette box project, and this was left over, and I thought it was perfect for these. I loved it that it was still in that same family, and that they have that glimmer and that glitz of the mica stain. So good, so pretty. I love the little eyeballs bubbling out of the cauldron right there on the front porch. So sweet. See how his mask is candy corn-ish? He's got the candy corn in his bucket. They're so dang sweet. And I love how the stencil the paste through the stencil kind of took on some of the color from the background. It just makes it that much more subtle. I am in love with these tags. And I'm going back and forth on my tag books because some of them are cut from this die. Some of them are the Tim Holtz dies, and some of them I just literally eyeballed. So they're not all going to be able to go into one book because they're different sizes and different shapes, essentially. So I'm going to figure that out. So for those of you who have been waiting to see my tag books, don't give up on me. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to figure out a plan. But I thank you guys for spending some time with me here on Halloween for these last three little projects, these little cards, and these little guys. I think he's my favorite. These little guys from Clearly Besotted are absolutely adorable. And I did not get these as part of the exclusives from Stamp Timber, but I got these in lieu of the exclusives because I just didn't make it in time. But again, guys, thank you so much for spending time with me. Let me know downstairs your thoughts. Obviously, let me know about the decal edge scissors or any kind of edge scissors that you might have, because I think they're super fun. And again, I thank you for spending time with me. I wish you a very happy Halloween. And until next time, guys, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Mwah! And I'm out.